What if someone told you that the guy everyone laughed at on ovals, the one critics said would never figure it out, the one who was nearly buried in the standings just a year ago, is now the driver that established stars have to look over their shoulder for? Because right now, in 2026, that story is happening in real time, and if you're not paying attention, you are going to miss one of the most remarkable transformations in recent NASCAR history. Shane van Gisbergen is not just surviving on ovals anymore. He is thriving, and the rest of the Cup Series field is starting to feel it. If you want to stay ahead of everything happening in NASCAR this season, the stories no one else is talking about, the shifts in the championship picture, the moments that matter, make sure you subscribe to this channel right now and hit that bell so you never miss an update. Because here is what makes this so extraordinary. Cast your mind back to early 2025. SVG arrived in the Cup Series full-time with basically zero oval experience at the top level. Think about that for a second. Most of these drivers have been running ovals since they were teenagers in go-karts. They have thousands of laps on high-banked asphalt burned into their muscle memory. Van Gisbergen? He came from Australian supercars, a world of street circuits and road courses, then made every road course driver look slow the moment he touched one in NASCAR. But the ovals? That was the question mark that nobody had an answer to. With his very limited experience competing on ovals, Shane van Gisbergen was widely expected to face a substantial learning curve. And early in 2025, he was sitting 34th out of 36 full-time drivers in points. 34th. Critics were already writing the narrative. Yes, he is brilliant on road courses, but he will never be a complete NASCAR driver. And for a while, it looked like they might be right. His first full Cup Series season ended with steady improvement in the second half on oval tracks, including his first oval top 10 at Kansas Speedway in September. A top 10. 1. That was considered progress. That was the milestone people were celebrating. And to be fair, it was progress, but nobody was trembling in their garage stalls just yet. NASCAR, then 2026 happened. Through the first 12 oval races of 2026, Van Gisbergen improved his average finish by over 8 positions, compared to the same stretch in 2025. And out of the 11 common tracks across both seasons, his 2026 finish was better at 9 of them. 9 out of 11 tracks. That is not a fluke. That is not lucky pit strategy. That is a driver who has put in the work, absorbed every lesson, and is now cashing it all in. And then came Nashville. Van Gisbergen turned in his best career oval track finish at Nashville Superspeedway, bringing the number 97 Trackhouse Chevrolet to the checkered flag in 5th, after leading 12 laps during the race. And it was not just the finish position that made people sit up straight. It was how he got there. At the checkered flag, just 0.005 seconds separated Van Gisbergen, Tyler Reddick, and Chase Elliott in a battle for the final spot inside the top 5. 3 cars, 3 elite drivers, fractions of a second apart, at a 1.5 mile oval. That is not a passenger finishing 5th. That is a racer racing. Speed Sport Motorsport, listen to what SVG said after that Nashville result, because these are not the words of someone still figuring it out. He said he learned to be comfortable moving around in turns 1 and 2, something he had never been able to do before, and that the team finally got the balance right on the 2-tire strategy. And then came Nashville. Van Gisbergen turned in his best career oval track finish at Nashville Superspeedway, bringing the number 97 Trackhouse Chevrolet to the checkered flag in 5th, after leading 12 laps during the race. And it was not just the finish position that made people sit up straight. It was how he got there. At the checkered flag, just 0.005 seconds separated Van Gisbergen, Tyler Reddick, and Chase Elliott in a battle for the final spot inside the top 5. 3 cars, 3 elite drivers, fractions of a second apart, at a 1.5-mile oval. That is not a passenger finishing 5th. That is a racer racing. Speed Sport Motorsport, listen to what SVG said after that Nashville result. Because these are not the words of someone still figuring it out. He said he learned to be comfortable moving around in turns 1 and 2, something he had never been able to do before, and that the team finally got the balance right on the 2-tire strategy. And even the week before Nashville, at the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte, Van Gisbergen did not fade after starting 3rd. He remained inside the top 5 for extended periods and never really fell outside the top 10 for the majority of the race, leading 11 laps late in the event, the most oval laps he had ever led at that point. His performance added to a growing list of solid oval finishes, and during the NASCAR broadcast, veteran announcer Dale Jarrett said Van Gisbergen's Charlotte showing proved he is no longer only a road course driver. When Dale Jarrett says that about you on national television, the conversation has officially changed. Motorsport heavy. Now here's where it gets really interesting for the rest of the Cup field. With Trackhouse Racing wrestling with results in 2026, it is actually noticeable that Van Gisbergen is outperforming teammates Ross Chastain and rookie Connor Zilisch at most ovals. Ross Chastain, being outrun on ovals by the guy who barely knew what a banking angle was 18 months ago. Chastain himself acknowledged it, saying Van Gisbergen simply had not done much oval racing in his past, but that he is a racer who pushes the tire to its limit, and now he is finding that limit. NASCAR, NASCAR. That right there is the most terrifying sentence in NASCAR right now. He is finding that limit, meaning he has not found it yet, meaning there is still more to come. Think about what this means for the championship picture. Van Gisbergen already secured 5 wins in 2025, dominated every road course he touched, earned Rookie of the Year, and made the playoffs in his first full season. He has now added a 7th Cup Series win at Watkins Glen in May 2026. The road courses were already locked up. If the ovals are now becoming a genuine weapon in his arsenal too, the question every crew chief and spotter across the grid has to be asking is, the drivers who shrugged off Shane van Gisbergen as a road course specialist, who assumed the ovals would keep him from ever being a true title threat, are now watching him chip away at their last advantage, race by race, week by week, lap by lap. Over his last 25 oval starts, compared to his first 25, there is a noticeable improvement of nearly 6 positions on average, more laps led, and fewer DNFs. The trajectory only points in one direction. Front stretch. This is what happens when a champion-level racer with 3 Supercars titles, a Bathurst 12-hour win, and a natural instinct for finding the edge of a car, decides that being good at one thing is not enough. Shane van Gisbergen is not here to be a novelty. He is here to win a Cup Series championship. And right now, as the 2026 season rolls on, the rest of NASCAR is running out of excuses, running out of track types to hide behind, and running out of reasons to doubt him.